So, good evening, everyone. This is Angelito C. Dangkalan, coming from the Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in Social Studies, second year. And now, we will be differentiating words or terms related to our subject entitled Teaching Approach. And before we are going to tackle the major terms, let's begin by defining their various components such as teaching, methods, approach, and strategies. So first, what does it mean by the word teaching? The Merriam-Webster Dictionary 2016 defines teaching as the act of imparting or providing knowledge or skills to another. Thus, the occupation or profession of a teacher. It encompasses both instruction in procedures, a process to guiding pupils to the information they will need, and challenging them to engage in thinking about concepts they construct in their mind. All of these are needed in order to teach students to become fully functioning individuals with good thinking capacities. Second, what is method? Dictionary.com defines method as a procedure, technique, or way of doing something, especially in accordance with a defined plan. Thus, it's a manner of logical, orderly, and systematic procedure to instruction, investigation, experimentation, presentation, and etc. Example, there are several methods of forming. Third, what is an approach? Cambridge Dictionary 2016 defines an approach as a way of considering or doing something. For instance, a person's approach to life, thus his perspective or view of life. And lastly, what is a strategy? Merriam-Webster Dictionary 2016 again defines a strategy as a careful plan for achieving goals, usually over a long period of time. It is a plan of action designed to achieve a specific goal or series of goals. For instance, soldiers strategize ways to win a battle. From the above definitions, we can come up with the following as definitions for various terms: teaching methods, teaching approach, and teaching strategies. Teaching methods are the procedure, technique, or way of teaching, especially in accordance with a defined plan. The term teaching method refers to the general principles or pedagogy used for classroom instruction. Your choice of teaching method depends on what fits you, your educational philosophy, classroom demographic, subject areas, and school mission statement. Teaching theories primarily fall into two categories or approaches: teacher-centered and student-centered. On the other hand, teaching approach is a way of going about teaching which suggests a ways that encourages good performance. Thus, according to the British Council 2015, an approach is a way of looking at teaching and learning. Underlying any language teaching approach is the theoretical view of what language is and how it can be learned. An approach gives rise to methods, the way of teaching something, which use classroom activities or techniques to help learners learn. Examples of teaching approach include the cognitive, behaviorist, and constructivist approach to learning. At last, teaching strategy is a careful plan of teaching activities to be undertaken which ensures effective teaching and learning. It is a plan of action designed to achieve a specific goal of series of goals. At the planning stage of every lesson, the teacher decides what method of teaching to adopt, whether teacher-centered or child-centered. Upon deciding which method to adopt which ensures effective teaching and learning of that specific topic, he begins to carefully plan teaching activities which can help achieve effective learning. And this time, we will be looking out into their differences and relationships. From the definitions of the root words provided by the various dictionaries, it is clear to see that the method, approach, strategy are not the same and therefore cannot be used interchangeably. While an approach is informed by one's view or perspective on issues, a strategy is carefully planned activities used to achieve a goal. A method becomes the procedure one adopts in solving an issues. The definitions of the actual terms which stems out from the meaning of the root word also suggest clear differences. Therefore, these words cannot be used interchangeably, since doing so would be to a distorted view of the terms. Above is a table giving examples which clearly depicts the differences as well as the similarity in the use of the various terms. On the first column are some examples of teaching approach, just like constructivist and cognitivist approach to learning, and objectivist approach to learning. While on the second column are some examples of teaching method, just like child-centered method and teacher-centered method. And on the third and last columns are some examples of teaching techniques, just like pair work, discussions, snowballing, collaborating, lectures, talks, conferences, symposium, and etc. These definitions notwithstanding depicts a clear relationship between the terms. Teaching approaches provide a basis for the development of teaching methods. Teaching strategies also evolve to define the following components of each teaching method, provide the unique ways of going about a strategy. In other words, teaching approach becomes a universal set from which we get teaching methods. Teaching methods also gave birth to teaching strategies from which we are defined by specific teaching techniques. So I think that would end up our discussion for this evening. I hope you've learned something from it. Thank you for watching and God bless.